Good evening to you, good morning people of the tube. Hope you're well today, hope you're feeling grand all well in your world. Hello there! Welcome to Q&A 16! Good gravy, 16. Okay, so question 1 is what's the deal with Pre CBS Strats? Is it fit, finish and feel that makes them so good, or is it tone? This varies, because there are rubbish 62 Strats. Or Pre CBS Strats, just in general. There are rubbish ones, and there are really, really good ones. Really good ones, it's fit, finish, feel, and tone. This being a prime example is the only way I can kind of put it. Really, I don't want to sound big-headed, but a good Pre CBS Strat is unlike anything else. It really is. I've been lucky enough to play 2 really good ones. I've played 1 okay-ish one, but the best ones I've played is this 62 and a 64, and they were amazing. Everything about them, everything about this guitar and the 64 was just, it's just all you need in a Strat or a guitar in general, like a Fender. It just had the right sound. It feels solid as a rock. They just I don't know. It's really hard to explain. There's just something about them that's extremely special. But there are crap ones. I remember playing John Entwistle's 62 Strat. That was okay. It was alright. I wouldn't have... If I was in the market for a 62, I wouldn't have bought that one. Let's put it that way. It was okay, but it wasn't great. It was a bit muddy. It didn't play very well. It just wasn't... It felt great. And I played some Pre CBS Telecasters as well, and some of them are fantastic. There was a 57 Telecaster I played, which to this day is the best Telecaster I've ever played, which was amazing, and it's just all you want from a Telecaster. But then there were some 60s Telecasters which I wouldn't throw water on if they were on fire. They were that terrible. So it's just down to personal preference, really. But these Pre CBS Fenders, there's some magic in them. And I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I can't describe it. It's one of those things you kind of... when you pick up the guitar, it's got it or it hasn't, kind of thing. And that's the same with any guitar, regardless of year, make or model. If you pick up a guitar and it's got something about it, then it's good, regardless of what it is, what make it is, how old it is, or whatever. But there is something in some Pre CBS Fenders. There really is. There's something. I don't know what it is. I really don't. I really can't elaborate on it. But there's just something about them. This one, I don't know what it. I don't know what it is. I really don't. I'm really sorry. That's not a good enough answer in my opinion. I'm really sorry. But it's hard to pin it down to what it actually is that makes these Pre CBS Fenders so, some of them, so good. I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if it's the vibe they give off, the age, or the fact that, you know, Fender just made things more precise and just kind of like a bit more kind of like really well. But I don't want to say consistent, because they're not really consistent, these old guitars. But I really don't know. But there is something special in some of them. Not all of them. I can't say all vintage CBS Strats and Telecasters and whatever else are brilliant, because they're just, some of them are just not. They just are not worth it. But some are. So it's, it depends on the one you play and if it speaks to you. Because one that somebody hates, you might love, and vice versa. I don't know. I know that's not really a very good answer, and I do apologise, but it's really hard to pin down exactly what it is that makes these things so special, and why are they so special, and why do they feel a certain way, and why do they sound a certain way, because the sound of these things is just... It's just otherworldly. That sound is just... Oh God! I don't have words, I don't have a word, it's just... It's in this thing! Sorry, I'm getting carried away. Breathe, Dave. I'm sorry, it's not really much of an answer, but that's the best I can do, I'm afraid. Oh, sorry. I'm going to move on to question 2 now. Okay, so question 2 is, how do you roll the volume down on the CR120 and maintain clarity and definition? When I roll my volume down, it cleans up, but it gets very muddy. That's a common thing with any kind of guitar with a, on a distortion with a volume. Not all amps will clean up sparkling clean. The one way to counteract it is to have a treble bleed mod installed on your volume control. So as you roll it down, you don't lose the highs, you just lose the lows, and it retains its kind of nice snappiness. That's what I would recommend to do if you want to kind of like just work everything from a guitar and just go straight into the amp. I would have a treble bleed capacitor mod put onto the volume control of your guitar. It's a very easy job. It's just a capacitor you solder onto 2 of the prongs on the volume control, and that's it. You really don't have to worry about it anymore. I've got them installed on my vintage Lemon Drop. I've got videos on that, and I think it was on the update video of that. I showed what it did, and they are really cool. Treble bleed mods are really cool, and I'd really recommend it for quite a lot of guitars and guitarists. I think it's a really cool thing to have done to your guitar, and it's such an easy mod, and it makes it so much more versatile. It's really, really cool. So that'd be my kind of fix on that. But yeah, I mean, volume controls, they do get darker. I really like that, because if I'm playing playing rhythm guitar, I normally have my volume on 8, and I get it's a fatter sound, so it's like it's a darker, fatter sound. So give you an idea, the volume on 8 here. So that's the volume on 8. Turn that reverb off. And then when I go for a solo, I'll just roll the volume back up to 10, and I get more of a brighter sound. So go from 8, and then roll up to 10, you get a brighter sound. Hopefully you can hear that. I really like the darkness that when you roll your volume down adds. I've always really liked that. But if you don't like that, I would definitely recommend getting like a treble bleed mod put in on your volume control. You don't have to worry about it then. And I say it's really easy to do. Any guitar tech can do it for you if you're not comfortable with soldering on or whatnot. But yeah, I would recommend that more than anything else. Yeah, hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question 3 now. Okay, so question 3 is, when you play a long note, it sometimes goes into feedback. How do you do that? It's simply just a lot of gain. I like a lot of gain. I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't use a lot of gain. It's like, boo to you. I use as much gain as I feel fit. But I like a lot of distortion. Like, for instance, if I combine my Marshall Governor with which is on max gain, and then combine it with DS2, not only do you get the rain sound, you know, you get immense sustain. You know, and that's how you get that kind of that note going into feedback, so to say. You can kind of do it with low distortion. But it's a little bit hard, and you kind of have to be on top of your cab to get it. So, simply put, it's just basically a massive overload of gain, just to get as much gain as you can on it, and it just. And it just goes into feedback, and you just have fun with feedback then, especially if you've got a tremolo arm. It's great fun. But yeah, that's how that happens. It's literally just immense amounts of gain. Yeah, as much as you can handle. I love tons of it, especially if I have the jackhammer, the governor, and the DS2 on. Love that. Love it. I've always loved loads of gain. Don't let anybody tell you haven't got enough gain. It's great. Okay, yeah. Hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question 4 now. Okay, so question 4 is what happened to my voice? Question 4 is, what ways do you know to make chords more interesting? Most of the time with playing chords and making it more interesting, I like to do the Jimi Hendrix, John Frusciante diddly dums that I talk about in so many videos, and all those kind of like. So instead of kind of like, if you've got a chord progression like this, which is nice chord progression, but like you want to kind of like do a little bit more with it. You can kind of add those kind of John Frusciante kind of thing. You got your diddly dums there, and you got your kind of double stops. It just adds a little bit more of a melody and a bit more kind of interestingness, and a bit more kind of. It's just a little bit more, like you say, it's just a little bit more, it's just a bit more interesting than just kind of. But there's nothing wrong with playing straight. What the key is knowing when to do that and then do the diddly dums. That's the kind of key, is kind of to kind of play it to the song, not kind of like I want to do this the whole way through. It's like if a song doesn't require it, you don't want to be doing it. It'll sound wrong and out of place. So it's kind of how can the chord progression, if you want to jazz up the chord progression, how can you kind of like jazz it up in the confines and context of the song without it sounding totally outrageously out of place. But yeah, I mean, I would talk about, like, I've spoken a million times about those diddly dums and all that kind of stuff. And I'll do more videos on that in the future. I've got so much planned for all this kind of stuff. I'm going to be here for a while, everybody. I have so much I want to get out. It's it's going to take me a long time. It's going to take me many years to get it all out. So. As long as people are watching, I'll be doing it. But like I say, you do want to kind of think about the song first before you start doing it, unless you write a song in that style, which in that case then that's fine. But if you're putting guitar parts to a song, then you kind of want to be thinking about the song more than what you kind of want to do. What does a song require you to do, not what you want to do, so to say. But if you're writing a song in that style, like Under the Bridge was written in that. In that style, then that's fair enough. But if it's not, and you're just kind of jumping into the song, you've got to think about how your part's going to fit. So playing into the confines of the song. But But yeah, I mean that's what I do to make things a little more interesting. It does sound a bit more melodic and nice, and also doing kind of like, instead of doing kind of big chords, like big power chords and big major chords, doing like little chords, like what can we do? What can we do? Or you can pick them. Stuff like that. It all comes from John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix for me, that kind of thing. And then you've also got kind of riffs you can do instead of kind of going. You kind of go. You know, there's a million ways you can kind of like, you know, jazz things up, so to say. But like I say, it depends on what you're doing at that time, really, more than anything else. I hope that's answered your question anyway. Again, I'm always so wary I'm not answering these questions good enough. You also asked too, do I name my guitars? No, I do not name my guitars. I never have and never will. I don't mind people who do name their guitars, that's cool, but it's not for me. Naming a guitar to me it seems weird, because a guitar is an extension of you, not a separate entity to you. So why would you name it? Why would you want it to be something separate? If anything, it's your name when you're playing it. You know, you have to play it. A guitar cannot play itself. If you put, you know, if I put my hands up, this guitar cannot play itself. I physically have to play it. So I have to make it go. You know, it makes the sound, but I make it go. So to name it and for it to be a separate entity to me has always seemed very strange. So I don't name my guitars for that reason. It kind of goes against what I believe the guitar is and my kind of beliefs in music. You know, it's just an extension of your being to get out what's inside of you. So to kind of like, it's kind of like if you're naming it, you got like a middleman there. It's a bit weird, you know. It's, you know, your whole setup becomes you when you play it. You know, it's an extension of your being, an extension of what you want to say, and the guitar is the main component of that. So I don't name my guitars for that reason. I hope that makes sense. Because I just feel it's kind of like, it's not. I don't know, it's not that. It doesn't feel right. You know, like I say, it's if anything, your guitar is your name when you play it. Like, again, I don't know. I don't want to go heavily into my weird concepts of what the guitar is and all that kind of stuff and bore you all to tears. But yeah, I don't name my guitars at all. It kind of goes against what I believe a guitar is and what it does. But yes, I hope that answers your question anyway on how to make chords more interesting and do I name my guitars. Moving on to final question of today, question 5. So, last question of the day, last question of Q&A 16, Q&A Wednesday 16, haha. Anyway, if you had a £2,000, dollar, whatever, budget, and you could buy one Marshall amp to get John Frusciante's tone, what would it be? Not a cheap amp. Because, yeah, you said, like, you know, what would it be if I had that kind of budget to kind of get an expensive Marshall? What I would get to emulate John Frusciante's sound would be a Silver Jubilee. I met a very, very cool guy recently called Dan. He bought his mini Silver Jubilee for me to try, and we had it in here. And I was just literally like, it's just, the sound is so, John's sound is so easy to kind of like dial in on it, especially using the rhythm clip, because obviously John ran his Silver Jubilees on like 10, so they were kind of a little bit, they were broken up. You know, they were distorting, because you can't get a valve amp that higher and it be kind of like super, super clean, really. Well, especially not a Marshall. So John's amps would have been quite dirty anyway because of where he ran his volume. It would have been, you know, loud. And we tested that with Dan's Silver Jubilee. I cranked it on the clean channel to 10, and it was so distorted. It's like AC/DC almost distorting. It was insane, but it sounded great. But with a rhythm clip on the Silver Jubilee, the reissue or the original, you can get a really nice kind of broken up kind of John sound. You know, that kind of sound on a lower volume, so you don't have to crank the amp up. If you kind of like, you know, you've been kind of nice to your neighbours or at a gig and you don't want to rip people's faces off with volume. But yeah, I'd definitely go for a Silver Jubilee if I had a large budget. I would really love a Silver Jubilee. Being a Slash fan and a John fan, I've always wanted one. Whether I'll ever own one, I don't know. It's well out of my league right now, budget-wise and everything like that. But I would like to get a hold of one. I'd love to get a hold of an old one and a new one and see if there is any difference between them. I would love that. It'd be great fun. But I would go for a Silver Jubilee over a Plexi or anything else. A JCM 800 would be a good choice as well. But seeing as it, and also the JCM 900 is a really good amp for getting kind of John Frusciante sound. That's got a really cool. The gain structure in the JCM 900 is really, really cool for that kind of like, you know, semi-broken up, clean kind of sound. What other amps? There's the JTM 60 as well, which is kind of like an oddball Marshall. The JTM 60 is a great amp for getting that kind of nice broken up John Frusciante sound, and they're amazing amplifiers. They are absolutely awesome. The combos and the heads are ridiculously good amps. But I would pick, if I could pick any of them, I would go for the Silver Jubilee, and especially playing through Mr. Dan's Silver Jubilee, that was just like, oh, what a lovely sound you make. It was just a great sound. But yeah, that's what I would go for. And I would, you know, if you want to get like an amp like that to kind of look the part and sound the part of John Frusciante, you know, it has to be a Silver Jubilee. Really, they're just awesome. They're really awesome amps, and I'm so happy I got to play on one. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dan, if you're watching, for bringing that up and for me to have a play on it. It was great. Oh, loved it. Great fun. But yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Yeah, Silver Jubilee. Silver Jubilee. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A 16. I'm going to give the Q&As a miss next week, as I want to do some pedal demos next week. I'm going to kind of focus on pedal demos, because I've got quite a lot to do, and I want to get through them, so to say, and get them out, because I've got so many to do. It's like, oh, I need to get on with it. So Q&A Wednesday isn't going to happen next week, but it will return the weekend after. Also, people have been asking, where do I send in my questions for Q&A Wednesday? Email is in the description box below. Just follow that and just send your emails to me, and I'll get to them eventually in a Q&A Wednesday. Also, I need to mention, the picture of me has changed to a little caricature. It was sent to me by a guy who follows me on YouTube, and I've got to thank him very much. And I've put the link to his website in the description as well, as it's awesome. I love it to bits. It's so cool. It's such an awesome little drawing. So yeah, the link to the guy's website who did the cool little drawing there is in the description box below as well. Go and check him out. Really, really cool. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. Goodbye.